Hello everyone, welcome to the video. My name is Cosolix. Today I've got Baron Dipidus, the lore master, and we actually just played some friendly twos, but I asked them a series of questions, including who's the weakest and strongest Brawlhalla character. So if you want to know the lore opinion or whatever on the weakest and strongest Brawlhalla legend, make sure you watch till the end of this video. Also, Baron does these weekly quizzes for codes, so if you want free Brawlhalla codes and you want to enter some fun quizzes, make sure you check him out. I'm going to link his Twitter and socials down in the description down below. If you go to his Twitter and check the pinned messages, then you'll see his weekly quizzes and whatnot. Honestly, 10 out of 10 dude, and definitely check him out. Again, link is down below. One last thing before we get into this video, I've actually started a podcast. I'm going to link that podcast channel down below. My podcast is going to have new episodes every single Wednesday, so go check that out. Again, link is down below. The last podcast, we talked about how Mind of Karma is banned for life, and on the next one, we're going to have a guest that's a pro player. We also did like a pro player tier list, so like we tiered off like pro players, like who we think is going to compete well at Summer Champ. So yeah, if any of that interests you, check that out. And let's get right into this video. Okay, great. Wait, what rank are you in Brawlhalla?
In 1v1s, I am gold. On a good day, low gold. I think my peak elo ever in 1v1 is like 1500 or 1550.
Okay.
Something like that. So
that's still not bad
average.
though. Like the average player is for sure silver. So
yeah, I don't consider myself bad, but
yeah,
I'm average, and I'm fine with that.
Exactly. When I was gold, when I first hit platinum, you know what's really funny is I was like 12 or 13 years old, and I thought I was a pro player for hitting platinum. So I put on my Instagram, "I'm a pro player now," as the caption, and like just the platinum rank. It was back in like 2016, so I was very dumb.
Okay.
But it was also maybe
honestly, I feel like a pro player if I ever reach platinum. So my person, well, you know, at least as close as I'll ever reach to pro players. But yeah.
No, you could. Anyone can go pro.
Oh, I'm sure I could. I just don't. I don't necessarily want to, and the kind of time I know the kind of time and effort that would take is not something that I would realistically want to do.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair.
I had a hard time. I had a hard enough time like practicing cello for high school orchestra. So.
Yeah, if I were to like redo everything, I would not choose to become a pro.
Oh really?
I love Brawlhalla and I love like competing and everything. I think it's some of the most fun I've ever had, but I don't think it's designed for me. It requires so much effort, and I feel like other people are like better at it too. I'm a one trick, you know?
Oh yeah.
And like if I were to spend all my time trying to go pro, I'd rather spend all that time like making YouTube videos and trying
to making things, community stuff, and all that.
Exactly.
That's another big thing for me too. I'm very much a community creator kind of person. So.
That's like what I'd want to be in the future too. I'm just like a 50-50 of both right now. Okay, for the start of the lore questions, okay, I'm sure tons of my viewers want like a clear explanation. So with the battle pass, so it's based on the OEL. Could you like explain exactly what it is for everyone? I have no idea.
Yeah, so yeah, the basic idea. So in the official lore, and actually I think I'll go. Let's see. For now, actually I think I'll choose legends based on some of this. So order of the OEL stands for the Order of the Exalted Lion, right? And the lore in general, it's very sporadic. You can pretty much start anywhere and start, you know, reading your favorite Legends lore and just going from there and drawing connections that way if you want to get into it. Chronologically, though, Jala is the first Exalted Lion. Overall, the Order of the Exalted Lion is a group, is an order of like hunters and warriors. They hunt monsters, right? They hunt the evil anomalies that plague mankind. We're talking werewolves, aliens, vampires, any of those sorts of things. So Jala was the very first Exalted Lion, and in her time, she led armies against a version of Azoth called Azoth the Zombie Lord. So with a name like that, you can imagine it's a very, very powerful being. Jala led armies against Azoth the Zombie Lord, and they won. And to kind of, as part of that victory, the Greek god Apollo gave Jala the title Exalted Lion. So that's where it started. The next Exalted Lion person we have is Sir Roland. There's not a whole lot there except for the fact that one of his many titles in his lore is Knight of the Order of the Exalted Lion. And that's how we know. And that's pretty much it. There's not much more than that. Sir Roland is just part of that, and it's went into medieval times. Where it really gets interesting is when we get into Diana and Mordex. So based on the Diana and Mordex's costumes, I'd like to say it's like the 1700s or late 1700s in Europe sometime, with like that tricone hat and like the cool the coats with the epaulets and everything. So the Order of the Exalted Lion continued their mission at that point. Diana was a commander. Mordex was a quartermaster. I think that's the kind of person who's in charge of like the arsenal and the weaponry and stuff. Diana was faithful to the Order. Mordex was a traitor, however. He was part of the Order because he wanted power for himself. He didn't want to destroy the monsters. He wanted the power the monsters had. And so Mordex's lore has examples of like, you know, kind of like coming back as the only surviving member of a mission and claiming that everyone got destroyed when really he was the one who destroyed them. Or stealing a scythe, stealing the Tome of Rituals. And there's one artifact that he wanted called the Geminius Virens, which is not explained in the lore, but we know from this battle pass now it's that double-headed coin that Cross now has. Anyway, but yeah, so Diana and Mordex are both in the Order. Mordex betrays the Order. He basically turns against them and tries to steal artifacts the Order has. Diana gets wind of this and is like, "Oh no, we're not having that." But so she fights against Mordex. Mordex like captures Diana. I don't know exactly how it happened, but basically Diana gets captured and gets sent to Helheim, the Norse realm of the dead of you know, Helheim. She's still, I guess, I don't know if she's like still alive there or something, but basically she's stuck there with like the armies of the dead, and she stays there and she fights for her life for 11 days straight. And the only reason, and normally she fights there for 11 days until the goddess Hel herself kicks Diana out and Diana goes to Brawlhalla. And then the final Order of the Exalted Lion member we have is Isaiah. He served under President Henry Coates, who is Sentinel, and he is a member of the Office of Emergency Logistics, or OEL. And that alone isn't that's kind of a weird coincidence, but Isaiah's lore says that he fought monsters. He fought like Rakshasas, he fought like aliens and vampires, pretty much the same thing as the Order of the Exalted Lion.
Okay.
There are other references to the Order, vague references. There's something called the Siege of Lions that's mentioned in Onyx's lore. So, you know, you can imagine that someone like Volkov, like a vampire king, would be someone that the Order of the Exalted Lion would want to try to get rid of, right? So we have like Volkov and Magyar and Onyx kind of like connected a little bit there, and also Caspian, because Caspian's father was killed 3 times by Diana. But yeah, that's I was probably a little long-winded there. I tend to be when I talk about lore. Those are all of the official lore references regarding the Order of the Exalted Lion. The Battle Pass offers an alternative timeline. The Battle Pass basically asks the question: what if instead of surviving for 11 days in Helheim, what if Diana lost? What if she lost to the souls of the dead in Helheim and became the worst version of herself? Then what would happen? So that's how you get Soulbound Diana, with all that weird, like, you know, soul, eldritch, ink kind of like stuff going on.
Okay. So it's like a spin-off almost.
Yeah, and then some of the other skins are references to, like, you know, a spreading corruption. Like, you know, the zombie lord Azot comes back. High Priestess Nye. Nye is not related to the Order of the Exalted Lion, but I guess in this alternative timeline, she preys upon the souls of the damned and I guess gains power that way. The Order of the Exalted Lion falls like really terribly, but there are people who try to reforge it and bring it back up, and they hire hunters like Cross to help them on their side.
Okay.
And yeah, and then of course we have human Mordex. That's basically what Mordex looked like before he became a werewolf. Octavius Mordex. So
that's sick. Yeah, now I kind of understand how like they easily implemented it into a battle pass. Like it was all just set up already.
Yeah, so there are several, and I know when people kind of like speculate about different themes that battle passes could have, we've had a Japanese we had a Japanese yokai or demon theme before. So they tied in Hattori because that's what her lore. Oh, are
Why
we doing
not?
double Mordex here?
Sure.
All right, cool. Mordex is my worst legend. I'm
Yeah,
awful with
same.
Gauntlets and Scythe, so this will be fun. Uh, but and then season 2 we had Synthwave. Now we do have this sort of like cyberpunk stuff with Ada and Val. And I think that's kind of like a alternative timeline with like what if Nyx was more like synthwave cyberpunk kind of thing, right?
Yes.
I thought that was fun to explore. It's a synthwave cyberpunk version of the freelance Reaper, and then season 3 was Norse mythology, and so it was just sort of alternative versions of like what if Bryn had like the power of the Bifrost and the Northern Lights kind of thing. We had Vanir Bodvar. Vanheim is another one of the 9 realms of the Norse cosmology, next to like Muspelheim and Helheim and Midgard and all that stuff. So, but this battle pass is definitely a lot more tied to actual things you see specifically in the lore. It's not just vague concepts like Norse mythology. It's like actually, and yeah. And there are several other things in the lore that could be a theme, possibly. Like some people have speculated a possible Fangwild themed battle pass, or
That would be really nice.
I think that would be cool too. We
That
already have
would
like
be.
Fangwild Core. There's cool things with like Ember and Dusk, and Ragnir, and there are lots of other things as well that you could tie things into. So
That's cool.
there you go.
Yeah, thank you. That's like probably a lot for people to take in, but it's really in depth, and I'm sure a lot of people like that. So thank you for the really clear answer.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is a bit more subjective, and these questions are going to be a bit harder to answer.
Sure.
Out of all the characters and their backstory, who's your favorite?
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's basically like whose lore is my favorite, essentially.
Yeah, essentially.
I do main Scarlet, not necessarily because of her lore, although I think her lore is awesome. There's a Baron in her lore, although it's an evil one apparently. I just like her for the steampunk theme. All of the lore is really cool for different reasons. I'll give a couple of my favorites. I really like Nyx's lore because it expands the Brawlhalla universe exponentially. Because before Nyx, we only had references to Norse mythology and Greek mythology and like space, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But in Nyx's lore, you get references to Celtic mythology, Egyptian, Mesopotamian, and other mythologies. So that just tells you that the Brawlhalla universe is just like all the mythologies, as well as space, as well as and then also we got like some celestial realm with Zariel, all kind of stuff. Caspian's lore is nuts. Like the feats that Caspian has done are just out of this world. He stole August 32nd somehow. He stole the town of Kiev in Russia overnight by being its mayor somehow.
It sounds like you from Despicable Me.
He basically kind of is. Like I think he's that sort of like master thief, but like putting on a show kind of thing.
That's
like,
awesome.
Like the kind of like Moriarty Gru sort of thing.
Yeah.
So Caspian is a lot of fun.
So you're saying if
like,
there's a Despicable Me crossover, it's definitely Caspian.
Honestly, Caspian, please, yeah.
Okay, BMG, please.
If that ever actually happens, then at least thematically, maybe not Sig-wise, I'm not sure, but Gru would definitely be more of a Caspian.
Oh yeah.
And Aesop is another one of my favorites. That'll be my third pick here because it's just really hilarious. You got this. Basically, his whole story is that he just keeps getting reincarnated over and over by his cultists because so he used to be a human, but then he had this sorcerer who basically created soul stones, which are basically Horcruxes, that if they get combined, then he gets summoned and he tries to take over the world each time. So in his lore, it mentions, and like he's mentioned several times in other people's lore, like he's in Mirage's lore as Pharaoh Azat. In Jala's lore, he's Azat the Zombie Lord. In Fate's lore, he's Death Speaker Zothkon. you can imagine almost all of his skins basically being a reincarnation of him. He just comes back over, and he keeps losing. Like, he might have domination to some degree, but he keeps losing to. He comes back to Brawlhalla because he dies from losing to heroes. He just wants to retire with his cat Dander, man. Just let the guy retire. That's all he wants. But yeah, I like that. I could go on and on about other lores, but those are my favorites.
I can tell you're really passionate about it. It's kind of crazy, and it's also like a new perspective I've never really heard. Like, I've never actually read the whole lore. I know you're gonna.
I mean, a lot of people haven't. Like, it's fighting game lore is not
But hearing people who are passionate about different things, it's very interesting and intriguing.
Exactly, it gets different people involved in the same game for different reasons. So
for sure, it's such like a lightweight game. Like, when you think of Brawlhalla, I think of this free-to-play flash game basically, but there's so much more to it. You got to respect that.
There's some mechanical depth in it as far as I know, but it's pretty straightforward as a game concept. But yeah.
Okay. Next question, and this is more to the title of this video. Who out of the lores do you think is the weakest character?
So you're talking physical strength, I believe?
If you put them all in a fight based off their lore, specifically, like who they are, who do you think would lose?
All right, that's a very good question, and I imagine that I and other people could possibly dive deep in the lore and look at the different confirmed feats that people have accomplished and try to figure this out.
Just from pure memory.
But, yeah, I was just thinking, for pure memory. I'm not gonna.
Before you answer, I was really thinking you could make a Brawlhalla game theory channel. I swear to God.
I honestly if I either had an editor or dedicated myself to editing, I probably could do something like that. I'm actually considering doing I've done PowerPoint presentations before. My Battle Pass Season 3 reveal was a PowerPoint presentation, and people seem to enjoy those. I'm considering that something along those lines because it's very little editing, but I can do that.
Yeah. Hey, who knows? Maybe we can work together and make something happen if people want to see it.
But yeah. So.
Weakest legend.
Just off the top of my head. Actually, let's see. I'm gonna take a moment to look at the roster here just to remind me on myself. Oh gosh, so physically weakest, in a fist fight or weapon fight.
Yeah, you put them up in a little 1v1 tournament, whatever.
Put them all up in let's see.
You could even list the weakest in general.
Right, yeah. A lot of them are pretty strong for different reasons. So it's definitely going to be someone who is bona fide human, right? Because we've got gods in here, we've got demigods, we've got aliens, monsters, half humans, all that kind of stuff. But they're seriously straight up just human. I imagine you could put someone maybe Isaiah on there as among the weakest technically, because he's not an augmented human. He's it's mostly just intelligence and tactics, right? A lot of the reasons why he gets the upper hand on these monsters is he gets the right tools for the job, like silver ceramic or something. That's apparently something that's useful for different things. But yeah, so Isaiah's probably not the weakest, but if it's just a matter of a fist fight and stuff, he's used to his line of work, as far as I know, with that kind of special ops kind of thing. It's all about you brief yourself about the mission, you prepare for it, but for a fist fight, you're just going in, right? So there might be a couple others that I was gonna say Mirage, but Mirage has sand weaving powers, so she's got a little bit of extra stuff going for her. So that's the kind of considerations I have, right? What are their powers and stuff? Petra has Dark Heart augmenting her abilities. I was thinking Kaya as well, but there's also something about she seems to be blessed with the Great Owl Spirit, and she has a mammoth companion or mammoth spirit helping her or something. And there seems to be some ice powers there as well. So there's my answer to that.
Okay. So Isaiah, Mirage, that kind of type beat.
Yeah, I imagine, and so those who are specifically unaugmented or not superpowered humans would probably be among the weakest in a fight. They would have the fewest advantages, I think.
Okay, that's a fair answer, to be honest. Okay. Last question. Who do you think is the strongest? Who would you bet money on in Eternity?
All right. Well, so here's the weird thing about this. My first thought is Thor, but in the lore itself, it said that he was bodied by Scarlet. So, and Scarlet's like an unaugmented human with like tools and stuff. So already that just sort of like complicates the question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see. What oh gosh, I'm thinking a little bit here. Honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards like if they use all of their powers, I would say something along the lines of
it's
Nyx
life or
Artemis.
death.
Life or death. If they weren't constrained by like the rules of a tournament in Asgard or something, probably Artemis or Nyx. Artemis has like used bits of a star to forge her armor. She's warped across time and space. She's like destroyed an entire fleet just like blasting through it like super like I think there's something about like a supernova or whatever. Like cosmic Artemis has cosmic feats. Like she meddles with dark matter. Like her idol animations, like she has dark matter in her hands, and her SIGs use like that kind of stuff, like black holes. I also put Nyx up there as well. They're actually side sparring partners. But Nyx is a Reaper. Like she brings people to afterlife. So she goes between realms. She tries to hunt down like metaphysical rule breakers. I think she's up there as well.
Okay, so I guess those two.
I would say
you'd have to like really make a video on like Nyx or Artemis, break it all down and theorize. But yeah, I probably.
Yeah, although if I were to really go down into like the different feats, I might come up with a different answer. But just based off of my overall knowledge of the lore, that's what I'm thinking. Just in the moment.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm sure the Nyx fans are really happy. And Artemis, it's two of the most like popular characters.
Oh, are they? I haven't really looked at stats all that much.
I know Artemis is like one of, if not the most popular Lance legends. There's also Orion as like top 2.
Right, yeah.
Maybe Scarlet, but I don't know the exact numbers. It's just whenever I make like a video on her, it will get views, you know?
Ah, fair enough.
So there's the Fauna Pro as well, so.
Yeah, so, I mean, Orion's really a mixed bag. Like, he is mystery personified, so for all I know, he could be more powerful than Artemis. I mean, after all, he's able to evade Artemis all this time. Artemis wants to destroy him, so...
That's fair.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, that's basically all the questions I got.
Alright, fair enough.
Was
there something about, like, I think in DMs earlier, you said something about, like, possibly who might be, like, was it like the dumbest?
I think I said strongest, but...
Oh, was it strongest? Maybe I misread that. Strongest to maybe I misread it as stupidest or something. Which, by the way, that's
you can answer
Thatch.
That's
probably
okay.
Thatch, honestly,
he looks dumb.
Because, like, he actually, like, Mako's lore confirms that he's actually Poseidon. But the weird thing is, like, Poseidon was like struck by Zeus's lightning, was cast down, and like. He's basically human now, essentially. Although he probably has some remnants of his powers, but he's just like he's like the hot son of Barbados, along with like all kinds of like grog and liquor, just the ordeals he's gone through. It's like addled his brain so much that he's literally a madman. So he just kind of like, and also his lore says that he helps Brax in his schemes to take over, I guess, Brawlhalla, just out of sheer bloody mindedness. All Thatch cares about is just like deadly pranks and treasure, like, you know, and that's it. So I suppose you could possibly say Nash, but Nash came up with the first real plan, apparently. Like the first plan of mankind was conceived by Nash. So I don't think that makes him all that stupid.
Yeah, that sounds like some Dr. Stone type stuff. That sounds
Dr. Stone. Oh yeah, that's like yeah.
Have you seen the show? Do you watch anime?
I've watched some anime. My wife's more of an anime person than I am, actually, if you can believe it. She introduced me to Full Metal Alchemist, and
I need to watch Brotherhood.
Well, yeah, Brotherhood is the one, and stuff. Also, we finished the Netflix adaptation of sorry, not Haikyuu. We
Oh,
recently
Haikyuu's
watched
so
that.
good.
Yeah, I love Haikyuu. We even have like a car, like a decal sticker on our car.
That's awesome. Yeah, I binged all that stuff.
But yeah, I know the basic premise of Dr. Stone. I've never watched it myself, but I've watched a game theory episode, film theory episode of it before, so I know the basic idea of it.
Okay. I have actually not seen Dr. Stone, but it is on my watch list. Everyone says it's really good.
The concept does sound very interesting to me.
Yeah. I have it now. Oh, I want to nay this guy. Come down here. You want to see some tech? On this map? Watch this. You see the ground pound?
Oh, really? What?
I'm like not even jumping. Oh, that was bad. Okay, it's like...
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
That's just from this. Is that just for this map, or is it for soft platforms in general?
Just soft platforms in general. Bird showed me it last
but there's more room on that one, I guess.
Yeah, it just makes it easy.
Okay.
I can do it with the ground pound like 50-50, but other moves it's really hard. But dude, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Guys, if you want to check out Baron, his links are all down below everything Brawlhalla partner creators. So he also reveals Battle Pass stuff. You do quizzes on Twitter for codes, right?
Yeah, so this week I have a special giveaway quiz. It's pinned on my Twitter, but normally I do weekly lore quiz giveaways, like 3-question lore quizzes, and I have like, you know, maybe some CCs to give away, or maybe some avatar codes or some skin codes. Mm-hmm. Whenever there's a crossover, I usually have codes to give away for that, like a new crossover. Okay. Yeah, I do weekly lore quiz giveaways on Twitter, and I'm just in the community, just hanging out.
Awesome.
As I do.
So yeah, guys, literally, if I know all of you have looked up on YouTube at one point Brawlhalla codes, because I swear to God, that is one of the most searched things on YouTube. If you want free codes, check out Baron, check out what he does. It's obviously not going to be a ton of codes.
Yeah, I do have a fair number of free codes.
Oh, yes. So yeah, you could definitely get some people there. Check out his links down below. Thank you so much, Baron. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all
here. Thank you.
in the next video. No problem. Peace, boys and girls. I don't know.